Drum for the Song podcast.
Hello, everybody. My name is Dane Campbell, and this is Drum for the Song podcast. Today, my special guest is Adam Breeze of Raveneye and new band Taurus. How's it going, Adam?
Hello, mate. I'm very excited. I'm nervous because I've listened to a lot of these episodes, a lot of these podcasts of, yourself before. So I'm excited, but it's going to be good. It's going to be good.
Well, first of all, thank you for listening. Probably one of the only people that has actually listened to a few shows before you've been on. Nah, maybe not, but
I do research as well, mate. Don't worry.
No, I appreciate that. That's really kind of you. Thank you very much. And it was finally great to very briefly meet you at the Steelhouse Festival the other day. It's a shame we didn't really kind of find longer to kind of catch up. You were busy packing away, and then I had to kind of go and warm up and stuff. But yeah, it was cool to watch you play live, because I've seen a lot of your footage online on your social media. So to see you smash the hell out of the kit live was cool.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's been a long time coming. It is weird because I've said this to a lot of guys that over the pandemic, that you kind of meet online and you go, oh, are we allowed to swear in this podcast?
Yeah.
Cool. I was like, oh shit, like I didn't realize you played for that band, blah, blah, blah. And then, that was Steelhouse was the first Raveneye show we've done in a long time. So I was like, oh, like Dane's going to be there. So, I've made sure to kind of connect up with you. But yeah, it's cool to finally meet in person and check out. It was funny because when I was setting up my kit, I was like, who's that kit? Whose is that kit over there? I was like having a little note. And I saw your new your new Sony kit, and I thought it was a Gretsch, and I was like, it looks so much like a Gretsch, and I was like, oh my god, I was checking everything out. So sorry about that, mate, but I was kind of creaming over your kit a bit. So
wow, thanks very much. No, thanks. It's nice for people to cream over it because
not literally, but I was just
that would be a bit weird. But no, it was cool. It was the first time I'd played it live. I've only used it in the studio like literally less than a handful of times, so it was nice to actually play it. And just I was hoping it was going to do what I wanted it to do, and I was hoping it was going to be worth the purchase from what I was using before. And I think it works for me, man. And just the slightly shallower bass drum, because I was using a 24 by 17 and a half, and that's a 20.
Oh wow,
that's a 24 by 14.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, a little slightly less boomy, more of a thud kind of. It works with rock more, I suppose.
That's a weird size, 24 by 17 and a half. That's like, because I'm used to 24 by 14. That was my old Mapex kit, and now my new one's 26 by 16. Nice. But you do notice on the length side, you've got to really kick a bit more to get that air moving. Wow. Okay. Yeah. I like 14. It's nice. It's a nice depth.
Yeah, I think it's perfect. And for when you're playing like kind of like you mentioned, the faster stuff, sometimes you can't, if you're playing like a double stroke, you can't really use the velocity that you would like to on a single stroke. So it makes a difference for me anyway. So yeah, it's cool. And I'm glad you like the look of it. And a lot of people told me it sounded nice, and my little GoPro video sounded all right, considering it was a GoPro. So yeah, for anyone listening, there's stuff on YouTube if you want to check that out. But yeah, let's go talking about you really. We'll talk about your new Mapex kit later, because that's cream worthy as well.
Not that one. That one there. It's a bit of a mess at the moment because I just got back from rehearsals. But so the shells are in here, so we can talk about drum geekery later.
Absolutely, man. But yeah, so how did you start playing the drums? Like, how old were you, and how did you get into it and stuff?
I was kind of a late bloomer to drums, to be honest. I was probably 13, I think, when I decided like I want to be a drummer. When I was really young, I started playing on like Guitar Hero and like Rock Band, all those those games that were around. So I started getting my sense of like rhythm from that, and then I think I went to Reading Festival 2000. I can't remember what year it was. Oh, have I gone?
You've gone a little bit. Sorry. Yeah, I was hoping you were going to come back. Yeah, you seem to be back now.
Oh, there you go. Sorry. So, yeah, Reading Festival. Can't remember what year it was, but Foo Fighters were headlining, and that was the first time I kind of saw them, and that was on the Wasting Light tour. And I saw Taylor Hawkins, and I was just like, whoa.
Yeah, man, he's a beast.
Yeah, that's exactly what I want to do with my life. Sorry, every time I go on like a podcast like this, everyone tries to call me.
That's all right, man.
That's why I just froze. Yeah, so I saw those guys. I mean, I've grown up with Nirvana and stuff, but that was the first show that I saw that I kind of went, okay, I want to do that kind of thing. And then ever since then, I got my first kit when I was like 14. I played in all the school bands as well. I just played in every band I could at school, jazz band, funk band, rock band, whatever band, and just had a few lessons and tried to learn the craft of it. But got my first kit, and the shed that I'm in now, it looked a lot different when I was younger. It's kind of like built for 12-year-old me, so I can't really stand up in it. But it used to look a lot different without all the acoustic treatment. It's just a shed that me and my dad built when I was younger, just as like kind of like a play shed thing. And now it's where all the kit lives and stuff. So yeah, I mean, my first ever kit, I can't remember what it was. I think it was a Pearl Export.
Ah, classic.
Sorry, Mapex.
But yeah, it was like a red Pearl Export. And yeah, ever since then, I kind of just went for it, and I didn't really look back on anything. But yeah, I guess I was like 13, and that show was like, whoa, okay.
That's pretty cool, man. Going to Reading when you're that age. I know it happens, but like I imagine it inspires, well, the kids like yourself, teenagers like yourself, amazingly well. So that's a great example. And I noticed you play a bit of guitar as well, right? Because I've seen videos of you playing guitar and singing.
Yeah.
Did you get into guitar after the drums, or did you already play, or what was the deal there?
I mean, I learned like classical acoustic guitar when I was very young at primary school. That was before drums.
Oh,
but
cool.
It wasn't like I wasn't going into it learning like all of that stuff. I was just playing like Three Blind Mice and stuff like that, and I never really like took onto it. But when I basically started singing and playing, I've always been singing, but playing acoustic, I think it's a lot easier to get like acoustic and singing shows in London and stuff in bars than it is getting drumming gigs. And that sounds stupid, but like I started going to this bar called Slim Jim's Liquor Store in London, and they started doing like acoustic nights there. And I was like, I wonder if I could just come down and do something, like just play AC/DC or whatever. And I did it, and it went down a storm. So after that, I was like, right, I'm going to see if I can get my chops up on the guitar and my vocals as well, because the second Raveneye album, I'm all over that on vocals and BVs and stuff. And I wanted to try and, you know, some of my favorite drummers, singing drummers, you know, Phil Collins, etc., or Taylor Hawkins, Dane, you know, or whatever. So I was like, well, I don't want to just be like a drummer. I want to be able to be a musician and know how to write a song and know what key changes are, blah, 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 and know what harmony should go over that lead line, etc. So yeah, I decided that I should kind of, you know, up my game on that side of the park. And it's helped so much with my playing, because when I hear guitarists play riffs and bass players, I'm just like, okay, I know what goes with that, because this is what I would play if I was playing the guitar, kind of thing. So yeah, I do it as much as I can. It's another kind of, you know, hobby, I guess, I don't know, other outlet of my musical adventure, I guess.
Well, that's fantastic. Yeah, no, I know what you mean about, like, I dabble with guitar and bass and stuff. I'm not much of a singer, sadly. It's one thing I wish I really could do. And I think I can sing in tune, but I can only sing really low. And I just think the sound of my singing voice isn't, you know, pleasurable to anyone. So I think it's just one thing I've had to kind of sack off. I dabbled with BVs in bands, and they've always been like, no, I think we're all right without you.
I mean, at first, I hated the sound. I mean, I still hate the sound of my own voice, but I really was just like, right, I want to make sure that I can kind of being key. But like, dude, like you should keep at it, because I think it's always worth having in your back pocket, I think.
Yeah, well, I sing in the car, and sometimes me and my wife, we have a little sing along and stuff like that, which is nice. But I've never really thought. I did in school a little bit, and I just don't think it was great. I remember playing piano and singing in school once, and it wasn't the best experience. And I worked really hard at it. It didn't go very well. I kind of it was a funny story because I was practicing on a keyboard in my house. I didn't think about the actual fact that I'd be singing into a microphone at the actual concert. And when the concert came around, I was on a digital piano, and there was like a mic on a boom stand or whatever. And I didn't even think about where to position the mic. And I positioned it up there, so I couldn't look down at what I was playing, and it was awful. But that was just an experience, and I guess if I did it again, I'd know how. I would even think about that. I didn't think about that. But anyway, yeah, I'm not. I can't really. I'd love to be able to do a solo gig with an acoustic guitar and vocals, because that's it's quite good money in that kind of stuff compared to going out in a 3-piece cover band or a 4-piece cover band playing drums. You can kind of get, well, from what I've been told.
I mean, it's great. I mean, you could. I know people who make a killing doing that.
Yeah,
every
absolutely.
week. But yeah.
Yeah, each to their own. It's great to play original music.
I know where my heart lies, which is in hitting things. So
yeah,
don't worry, folks. There won't be a fucking Adam Breeze solo album. Don't worry. Maybe.
Never say never. That would actually be good, man. You could play every instrument. Be cool.
Yeah, could do. I could try. I mean, I'm not great at bass, but you don't need to be amazing at bass to play bass, right?
Hell no, no. Especially if it's kind of fairly rock influence. It doesn't really need to be crazy on the bass, man. But that'd be cool. That'd be cool. And you play the drums really well. I've been very impressed with everything I've seen. Haven't heard a lot of your recorded stuff yet, but I'm looking forward to obviously the new up and coming Raveneye album. Do you have a release date or anything like that for it yet, or is it kind of watch the space?
We have a date that's kind of floating around, which is, I want to say, like, I'll say it, like winter time this year.
That's cool.
So we're trying to create like an event for it, because we haven't released an album in a long time, because we just haven't had we just haven't had the right moment to do it. Trying to create like kind of a launch event. So keep your eyes peeled for that, because we're trying to create something really, really fucking cool. And we've done like listening parties before, but we want to create something for this release that's like really special for fans to come along to. So yeah, I mean, it's been a long time coming, and I know like if there's Raveneye fans listening to this, I know you guys have been so patient, like everyone's been so patient for it, because everyone's like, when is it, blah, blah, blah. But we just haven't had the right time to do it, as yourself and a lot of other guys being a touring rock band. And especially for us, because I think we normally win fans over when we play live, instead of like, here's a CD, fucking listen to a record. Like, we need to play live to kind of show people what we're all about. And that makes people kind of go, oh, okay, I get it. So for us, we need to tour. And obviously over the last 3 years, it's been a bit fucking difficult to do that. And it's probably going to be difficult for the next couple of years, but you got to do it sometime. So.
Absolutely, man. And yeah, I can see from watching you live and I've listened to the record. I know you're not on the record, but, watching you live, especially in that kind of 3-piece power, I call them blues power trio kind of rock band. Yeah. I used to be in one myself. We called the Mojo Sinners. We didn't do a lot, but we would have been a perfect kind of band to play with you guys. Yeah. I'll send you a link at some point. Yeah. But yeah, I'm not in them anymore, so it doesn't really matter. Damn it, I know. But yeah, I see. You need to experience it live. You need to kind of see the guitar playing and the actual improvisation aspect of the live show and stuff. And yeah, it's just so powerful, man. And yeah, I can imagine. And while we're on the topic, you've obviously had some fantastic touring experiences so far. You've had some great support slots and festivals, I imagine, as well. So do you want to tell us about some of your favorite career highlights so far?
Ooh, let me get my list out. No, I mean, it's been ever since I joined Raveneye, which is probably about 4 or 5 years ago. It's just been a whirlwind ever since I joined. I remember when I joined, and the first thing the guy said to me was like, right, bearing in mind I'd only been, before Raveneye, I'd been in like UK touring bands. I haven't gone really abroad that much. And they were like, right, pack your bags. We're going to Argentina, Brazil, and we're playing alongside like Disturbed, Marilyn Manson, Bullet, like all these bands that I grew up listening to. And my mind just exploded. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? So yeah, I mean, you know, you get to the hotel and you get in a lift or an elevator, and RJ Hale walks in from Hailstorm, and John Fred Young from Blackstone Cherry walks in, and like, you know, the guys kind of knew them before because they toured with Hailstorm, and he's like, hey, how's it going, man? And Ollie's like, all right, mate, this is our new drummer, Adam. And I'm standing there like, I've got a picture of you on my wall, mate, but I'm not gonna say that in front of you. And he's like, oh, how's it going? And then I remember that night they came down to the bar. They came up to me and they're like, oh yeah, so we checked out your Instagram, and like, you're a fucking great drummer. Like, we've learned so much of you, like learned so much from you. And I was just like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, this is not real. But yeah, man, I mean, the tour, the main highlight probably for me with Raveneye at the moment, you know, was the Kiss tour. And that was 14 dates around Europe with Kiss as a direct support. There wasn't any other guys on it apart from local bands. So, you know, that was just, the thing is, Raveneye, what a lot of people do, I'm sure it's the same most bands, everything's so quick to happen. It's like you could be mowing the lawn one day, and then the next day someone like Oli phones you and goes, oh, by the way, you know that Kiss tour that we said we might get, we've got it. And I was just like, great, okay, this must be a joke. But, and you know, so that tour, when you hear 40,000 people like, you know, cheer, you hear it in video games and stuff or whatever, or that shit, Guitar Hero, for example. But then when you hear it in real life, it like actually hurts. It's so, I remember the first show we did was in Moscow in Russia, and that was the largest show we did. That was 40,000 people. And it was like, you walk on stage and it was like fake. It felt fake in the best way possible. It was just like a dream world. So yeah, that was an experience, man. That was crazy. And the stuff we learned from that show as a band, or that tour as a band, was just like tenfold, because we went into that absolutely shitting our pants going, right, we need to create the set list that would be like a headline set list, and we need to be this arena band. But it didn't work on the first show, and we were like, why isn't it working? So we just went, right, as cheesy as it sounds, screw the fucking set list. Let's just go out there and play like we're playing to 200 people like we normally do. And we did that, and it just kicked off. Ever since then, it was just like, okay, I get it now. I get it that, you know, you need to make that arena feel like it's 100 people, and make sure the people at the back feel the same as people. And that's the attitude we had for the rest of the tour, and that's the attitude that we have forever now. You know, it's just that thing of just like, it doesn't matter how many people you're playing to, just play like it's your last fucking show on earth, and people respect that. And I know people say that, but it's true and it works. Yeah.
Well, that's really interesting, actually, man. And when you say you made changes to the set list, do you mean you actually changed the songs, or the way you put those songs across with regards to kind of like how you link things and interaction with the audience? What do you mean by that?
It was mainly like the vibe of, we didn't really change the songs. We took a few out that were like, yeah, that won't work. But it was mainly the kind of the way we approached it. Instead of going out there with like, hello, we are Raveneye, you know, putting on an act almost. It was like, let's just go out there, be ourselves and do what we do. And if people don't like it, then fuck it. And we did that. And that was the attitude that everyone kind of dug. And that has always been our kind of, not motto, but what we've always kind of, don't get me wrong, I love Freddie Mercury, I love David Bowie, like, I love all those characters that are like out of this world when they go on stage, but I don't think we've ever been that band to go on and be like, hello, like,
yeah,
keep it same as you guys, just keep it real and keep it connected on a human level. So everyone else feels like you could just like have a beer with everyone, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool, man. Yeah, and I think like my band probably have a similar approach with regards to if we're supporting or headlining, we kind of treat the gig the same way. I think sometimes, I guess our band is fairly unique because we do the odd cover of like my dad's old band. So some songs are like heavier than others and some are more bluesy or whatever. So depending on who we're playing with or what kind of festival it is, sometimes we make adjustments to the set list. So that's actual songs, but generally the way we perform and everything is the same. So yeah, that's interesting, man. And so how early on in your career with Raveneye was that tour? Just so I can get an idea in my head. Was that quite early on?
I mean, I joined in late 2016, and that tour was mid 2017, I think.
Right.
So it was pretty quick. I think the only tours we did before that was like the Nova release run of the UK, like album run, and then like a few festivals. So it was pretty fresh doors for me. I was kind of just like, whoa, are you kidding me?
It's mental, man. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, ever since that tour, it's kind of propelled us onto other tours that have been amazing. Like we've supported Bush and Hell Yeah and loads of other really cool bands that have taken us all over the world. So, you know, and the thing is, with a band so massive as Kiss, I think there was about 100 crew, and we decided we're going to learn the names of every single person on that crew before the tour's out, because they're the people who, you know, Kiss are great, but they're the people who are going to be helping us, and they, you know, they're amazing. Everyone was so kind, and you know, my snare drum like fucking exploded on one of the gigs. One of the log boxes came off, and I didn't have like a decent spare. So I was really scared, and I was like, I need a snare drum, and there wasn't any music shop. So I was like, oh, there's the, you know, Eric's tech over there. Fuck it, I'm just gonna go ask him for a snare drum. So I went up to him, hey man, I'm in support band. And he's like, oh, you guys kick ass. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So like off on the right foot, and I just said, I know this is a really big ask, but is it possible to borrow a snare drum for the set? And he was like, yeah, which one do you want? He has about 20. Okay, whatever. And he was like, hey, have this one, you know, have this one. It weighs about, you know, how many pounds it was. I was like, yeah, cheers, mate. Okay, thanks very much. So, you know, and the crew did the screens for us every night, the cameras, they worked the cameras, they did the lighting for us, they did the backdrop, TV shit. They didn't have to do any of that. And that was a massive relief for us, because we didn't expect any of that kind of kindness. You know, I've been told before, and it's true, that as a support band, you're the backing music for people to buy merch. And it's true. You know, it's like, it sounds bad, but when you're on a tour that big, you expect to you just want to be ghosts, because no one gives a fuck who you are. Like, why should they? It's fucking Kiss. People are here to see Kiss. But the fact that we got that kind of all-star treatment, and everyone was so kind, including Kiss. Like Paul Stanley came into our dressing room, was like, hey guys, like, you know, fist bumped. Everyone said like, doing great, blah, blah, blah. So it's just refreshing to go on a tour like that with such a massive band, and they be like, you know, so humble back to you, and you're just kids, you know. So yeah, massive learning curve in my playing. Like my playing was just like here, and it just went to another level after that tour, because I was just so more confident on stage, because I'd played in front of that many people. I was just like, okay, whatever, stick me in front of fucking 200,000. I don't care. Like, just bigger the better. And that really kind of made us rise to the occasion. But yeah, crazy shit.
Yeah, that's a great story, man. And when you say about the crew and the fact that they were really great to you, and I think that's with some of the big, I think you can go either way. Sometimes the really big bands, as a support act, you can sometimes be treated fairly badly by the crew, or sometimes they'll treat you amazingly. And it sounded like you had a great experience there. I've been on the receiving end of kind of both ways, and it's hard because the crew, obviously the band members, I guess, are the most important people, but the crew make the show happen. And you've got and most of your interactions as a support band are with the crew, as opposed to being directly with a band. So it's great to keep them sweet, but sometimes if you immediately get negative vibes, kind of like from the get-go, it can be really tough. And like we've had that, and it's really difficult to overcome, even if you're really friendly with the band. Yeah. And if someone in the crew or most of the crew are kind of making it difficult for you, that can be tough. So yeah, that's great to know. And I'd bloody love to support Kiss one day. That would be fantastic. So if I ever get the opportunity, and it's like, no, the crew will hopefully be cool. So yeah. And
we've had it before where the crew are a bit iffy and stuff, but I think so long as you guys are professional and you stick to the times, you're never late, blah blah blah, you don't leave any shit on stage, there's no reason for them to hate, because you're doing exactly what you're meant to be doing. So we've always had that etiquette of just like, make sure you're invisible until someone says, well done or whatever. Like, just make sure that your head's down until you are playing those sorts of arena shows, where you can do that shit.
I think that's a great tip for like anyone who's in a band today listening, maybe, and you're at the stage where you are getting offered these support slots. I think that's when you said there, try and be as invisible as possible. I think that is a good tip. Like don't load in until someone says it's okay for you to load in. Always ask, where's the best place to put our gear? Someone will direct you. Am I okay to start setting up my kit on my rug now or whatever? Wait until, they say it's cool. Don't hit any fucking drums.
Fucking do not do that shit. do not make any noise.
Yeah.
I've learned the hard way on that. Fucking hell.
Yeah, don't hit anything. Don't tune anything. Try and do as much of that as home or in the practice room before the tour or before the gig. I know it sometimes isn't easy, but you've got to think this band are on tour. They're trying to do their thing. They've got a limited time they want to do it in. They want to. They don't want anyone to kind of disrupt that. And likewise, once they finish sound checking, wait. Don't just start lugging stuff up to the stage. Wait until someone invites you and says, "Come on, guys, your turn now," or whatever. Always ask, is this okay? And I guess any guitarist, I know a lot of people who don't play drums listen to this as well. Likewise with the guitar stuff, just check, is this okay for my amp? I would never request that you ask the headline band to move anything unless it's completely impossible for you to play without them doing so. And even so, try it, because the techs that are in charge of all their gear are the ones working their asses off all day. So the easier they can make their headline slot go, the less they can move. They don't want to move anything. So try and avoid even asking the question unless you think it's impossible for you to do the show, and then see what happens. But just try and live with it. If it's a pedal board in exactly where you want to put your pedal board, just if they want to leave it there, they want to leave it there. So, and
I think you'll be way better off on the rest of that tour if you go in with that attitude than going like, I'm going to move this here, there, and then the rest of your days on that tour are just numbered because the crew will just be like, these guys are dicks. They're turning. And I get it. Like, I understand you don't want to be treated like shit. You're there, you're there to perform, blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, you've got to respect the fact that, you're on this person's tour, whoever it is. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what size it is. We've had support bands before that have been awful. And in terms of like, loading in and just like chucking our gear everywhere and stuff. And, we're not a massive band, but at the same time, it's still just being a human being about something and being respectful and saying, hey man, do you mind if I drink all your fucking beer on your ride?
Well, that's another thing. Yeah. We talked about this on the episode I just released with Aria from Skindred. Oh, yeah, we talked about kind of like backstage etiquette and stuff. But I think we were talking more about guests and, people on the guest list and stuff. But it's the same with support bands. If you're lucky enough to, get a rider that's specifically yours, that's great. If you don't, and maybe the headline band might say, oh, grab a beer, boys, don't take the piss, and things like that. Or if you're lucky enough to be doing a gig and there's catering or food involved or whatever, always kind of wait until someone says, go on, guys, go and grab yourself something. I like I mentioned earlier with the crew, the ones working their asses off all day, you want to make sure there's stuff for them, before the show, after the show, whenever they want to eat. And likewise with alcohol, not everyone drinks alcohol, but like if someone says, oh, grab a beer, guys, don't grab them all or keep grabbing them, or
of course.
And I actually had one of my listeners, his name is Adam as well. He actually sent me a voice message this morning listening to that. Hello, Adam, if you're listening. I'm sure you are at some point.
Adam.
Yeah, he was telling me about one of his old bands that he was in. And the singer was, the band were in that situation. They were supporting someone. I won't say who it is or the name of the band or anything. But the singer, they invited backstage and they said, oh, grab a beer or grab a drink. And the singer took a bottle of wine. And whereas, it was probably like take a beer or whatever. And apparently that kind of caused a bit of uproar with the band that were headlining and stuff like that, and it kind of ruined the relationship going forward. So things that might seem like an innocent act might cause your band, you might ruin your band's career by doing little things like that might seem like just fun rock and roll things at the time, but I don't know, this is all advice, and I think it is important because it's not just about playing in a band or playing the drums or playing whatever instrument you're playing. All these little things help you progress in your career, if you want to try and start a career. And it is really important. And, myself and yourself we've been headliners, we've been support slots, we've done big venues, small venues. So hopefully you've got a decent idea of what we're doing.
It's all the same, mate. It doesn't matter where you're playing, and it doesn't matter what band you're playing with, or if you're a headliner. It's all, there's no, I know a lot of people have said it before, but there isn't any room in this industry anymore for like rock and roll bullshit, because, there's another band around the corner that can do the exact same shit as you, and they'll be a lot nicer backstage. Like, we had a band support us a long time ago, and I won't say who it is, but we had a case of beers for us as a headline act. We said, right, we're going to say, we don't drink before shows. So we went, right, okay, we're going to save some beers for ourselves after the show. So we took some beers out of the crate and we put it like in our bags and stuff. We got back to the dressing room. That was a shared dressing room. And all of the beers had gone from the case, and all of the beers in our bags had also gone.
That's
so
insane.
We were like,
that's insane. That's stealing.
Like, okay, thank fuck my laptop's still there. But like, where's the beer fairy's been? Like, what? Like, it was really fucking weird, and we just called them out straight away and just went, what the fuck was that about? And they were gone. And as well, I mean, I get it with support bands. If you need to load out and you need to go to a long drive, blah, 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 I get it. If you can stay and watch the show, amazing. If you physically can't, then I get it. But there's a lot of bands that do that where they'll just support you or whatever, and then they'll just fuck off, load the gear out and go. They don't even like come say hi, which is, to me, is really weird, because it's like whoever it is who booked you on that show for a reason. It's not just doing it for fucking lols. It's like, we like your music, but we're all in the same boat. And it's really weird when people do that and they just go, okay, see ya. And by the way, I did see some of the show at Steelhouse, saying this, defending myself now, but we did have a 4-hour drive back. So
I get
it sounded fucking great.
Thank you. I completely understand. When you have to go in, logistics don't allow you to stay. Obviously, I totally understand. But if you're playing, a club and there's a local support band and they're from 20 minutes down the road and they just play and then leave and go out on the piss or whatever, I always think that's, especially, I think it hurts even more at the smaller levels when, there might be 50 people in the crowd, and then the support band and their mates make up like 10 of the people, and then they leave. It makes a big difference to like that kind of level. And I see that all the time. And I think the promoters note this as well. That's one thing I'll say. The promoters are the guys getting you these shows. But they want you to stick around to help the vibe of the show, to make it look like it's sold better and things like that. You know, and you're getting your mates on the guest list for free, and then you all bugger off to go to like the pub next door because the beer is cheaper or something. Or, you know, it happens a lot from where I'm from, and you know, I try and stick around and watch the bands, and you know, I don't know. It's things like this I think are obvious, but I think there's so many people that.
No, I know. I think people just, you just need to think before you do something most of the time. Really, just like go, okay, if I was in that position, what would I want or whatever. But you know, it's all swings and roundabouts. So if it's all different situations, but you know,
of course, yeah. You know, in situations where you've driven 4 hours for a festival to South Wales, for example, you've got a full back line or whatever with you. I don't know what you had, but do the show, stick around for a bit, and then you want to get back the same night because there's no hotels in Abu Vale.
We did want to stay, but we were just too slow for getting tents and all that shit. So I think it was a big storm that night, so I think you're glad you didn't stay. Okay, fair enough.
You wouldn't have wanted to stay that night by the sound of it. Crazy, man. That's cool. I'm glad we had this conversation because it's not something I've really talked about a lot on the podcast, but I think it is super, super important for any musicians out there. Hi, I hope you're enjoying this episode of Drum for the Song. I just wanted to briefly interrupt the interview to tell you about my Patreon page, which is a place where you can support the podcast and, of course, support myself. You can sign up to one of the 3 tiers on there. There's one that's £3 a month, one that is £5 a month, and one that is £10 a month. There are loads and loads of exclusive benefits to signing up, including bonus episodes, merch discounts, Christmas card for myself. If you sign up to the top tier, I'll send you a pair of my drumsticks. Loads of other stuff. So go check it out. It's patreon.com/drum for the song. And another way you could support me if you're interested, if you're not bothered about the Patreon thing, if you go to my official website, drumforthesong.com, you can send a donation via PayPal. So, thanks for watching this and enjoy the rest of the show.
Drum for the Song podcast.
I should rewind a little bit back. So you joined Raveneye. They already had an EP and an album out.
Yeah.
Did you have to audition? How did they discover you? How did you feel about kind of learning the parts of the previous drummer? Or did you kind of make the songs your own? How did you kind of approach that aspect of it? Because that's quite fairly unique, I suppose.
I mean, so with the audition process, it's funny because Oli, Aaron, and Kev, who was the drummer before me, they used to do jam nights everywhere across the UK for a bit of cash when they weren't touring. So I was in another band at the time, but I was a fan of Raveneye, and it was like Raveneye doing a jam night in Hemel Hempstead at this fucking bar, and I was like, oh my god, that's amazing! I'm going to go down because I had them all on Facebook and stuff, and I was almost like you. I had you on social media, but I'd never met you. So I was like, I'm going to go meet them. So I went down, and they're like, hey man, how's it going? Do you want to get up for a song? I was like, yeah, I got up for a song. I think we played Learn to Fly or something, and Aaron and Ollie were like, oh, that was really cool, man. Thanks. Like come again or whatever. And then I basically just kept showing up and was like, hey guys, like at the back, and they're like, oh fucking hell, it's him again. I got, kept playing with them, blah, blah, blah. And then they were like, let's go for a meal. Let's go for a beer. And then I got to know them a bit more personally. And then I think it was like a year after that or 2 years after that, I got a call from Ollie. And he was just like, just to let you know, this is what's going on. We need a drummer, basically. And I was like, well, I'm in a band, but I'm going to fucking quit that band because I'm not going to let anyone else be your drummer, basically. And he went, all right, fine. And he sent me Nova, the debut. He sent me that and he went, there you go. Here's all the songs, learn that and we'll set up an audition. I was like, right, okay, it's on. So I spent like 2 months up here learning the record. And, at that time I was kind of naive to learning parts. So I was like, yeah, I'll just fucking learn it and I'll add my own shit. Little did I know, after when I got the gig, that it was hammered into me that was basically like learn the fucking record and then add your own stuff. But anyway, so I went to the audition, and there was I think there was 4 or 5 other drummers lined up, and I was the first guy. So I was like, right, set the fucking bar. And they were like, can we record it? Can we film it? I was like, yeah, no worries. And Oli's actually got the audition tape, funnily enough. He found it the other day.
Oh, cool.
Which is fun. But yeah, so did the audition. I thought it went awful. I didn't hear anything for a couple of days, and I was like, nah, I haven't got it. And I got a call from Oli while I was working, and he was like, hey, man, just to let you know, we've cancelled all the other auditions. You're the guy. And I was like, oh, shit. Okay, great. You know, where do I sign? Let's go kind of thing. And that was it, really. I mean, it was a very quick process, like a lot of Raveneye things are. It's very like clicky, it'll just happen. But yeah, I haven't really looked back since, and it's just been up from there, really. But yeah, that was, in terms of learning the parts, you know, I tried to learn as best I could the record parts that the drummer did. And there's a guy called Gunnar Olsen, who is a fucking great session guy in the US who played on the record. And he's very technical, has great technique, plays all these really cool fills. And I was like, I can't do that. Like, I'm not that sort of guy. I just like flams and shit. Yeah. So I kind of had to try and adapt. But now when I play those songs live, the guys are kind of just like, yeah, it's almost your part now, because you've kind of like earned it. But yeah, for now, for this other band that I'm playing with called Taurus, they sent me their record, and my mindset now is like, right, learn exactly how those drum parts go. All you drummers, listen out for this, because you'll get the gig if you do this shit. Learn it like the record, all the kick patterns, all the fills, and then add in your own shit. Because 9 times out of 10, if you do a fill that isn't on the record or whatever, groove, kick pattern, they will call you up and go, hey, man, it's not like that. It's like this. And you've just got to like suck your belly in and go, right, okay, fine. Yeah, you're right. It is like that. Because the name of this podcast, Drum for the Song, it's true. There's a reason why those parts are there. And that was nailed into me the hard way. And I'm so grateful for that, because now I'm just like, right, there's a reason why that kick pattern's like that. There's a reason why that feels there. And being a 3-piece, as you know, being one, it was like, because there's 3 simple elements. Every person in that band has to be on it all the time. It can't just be like, nah, I'm just gonna fucking half-ass it, like whatever. If you're in like 6-piece or 7-piece, whatever, you know, it can kind of be filled out. But you know, all the power trios in the world, like the Police and Nirvana and Rush, every single person in that band had to be on it. Like, it had to be. So that was a big learning curve. Being in like 4 or 5-piece bands before that, kind of being in the back, I was almost brought to the front in a way, because the stage setup was like drums in the middle. I wasn't even at the back. I was like in line with Oli and Aaron.
Yeah. Especially like support slots when you're on a stage. You're like, yeah, I know, I've done that before. Yeah, I know what you mean. You're like sometimes even further in front compared to like the guitarist or whatever.
Like, there's not a singer in front of you, so it's you and the crowd. So you've got to. That was weird getting used to, but you know, got used to it now. I'm attention seeker now.
We love it. We love it. No, that's cool, man. So what this other project, Taurus, what kind of music is that?
It's kind of, I would say the best description of it is like stoner rock, like, you know, like Caius, kind of like big fucking drums, big cymbals, big sludgy low tune guitars that kind of stand out of tune, but also are in tune. Really, really old school Queens of the Stone Age, like Autopilot kind of shit.
Nice.
So
yeah, I love all that stuff. I love all that stuff. Yeah. Playing with Orange Goblin tomorrow, actually. So
there you go.
They're kind of one of the, I guess, big British stoner rock bands. I guess that's the genre. But yeah, I love all that. And it kind of lends itself well to the kind of blues rock stuff that you're playing in Raveneye. So
yeah, it's funny with you saying blues rock. Like,
well,
now I wouldn't describe Raveneye as. I mean, I would describe it as blues rock because of Oli, but I'll send you the new album, but like the new record, there's blues in it because we're all influenced by the blues, but there's not any, I don't know, it's very, in a good way, just straight up kind of Audio Slave, Soundgarden riffs instead of like...
Nice.
I don't know.
Okay, cool, man. I'll have a listen to that because it's definitely going to be up my alley, I think.
I think so.
Cool, man. Thanks. That's great. So let's do a bit of drum nerdery now. Let's talk about your gear and your endorsements. And I know we use a few of the same brands and some not as well, which is normally the case. We can't all use the same brands, otherwise no brands would exist. So you've recently taken delivery of your brand new Mapex. Is it like a custom made kit, right? Is that right? Yeah,
so it is, obviously, and a lot of people can see it because we're just talking, but it's behind me here. It is a Saturn 5, it's called Saturn Evolution. So basically, it's from the Saturn range, which is kind of the top end of Mapex. And it's a birch walnut blend shell.
Cool.
Sizes are 26 by 16 kick drum, 14 by 10 rack tom, 16 by 16 floor, 18 by 16 floor. So big sizes. And for Raveneye and Taurus and all that, it just suits it really well. Like a 26 kick, a lot of people like look at you and go like, why the fuck do you have that, basically? But I've always played a 26, apart from like once in my life where I played 24 for a bit. But I've always been used to playing big kick drums, so I've kind of got like a really fat right leg. Like I've always had like a heavy foot. So that 26, when I got it, I was really worried because it was 16 depth. It was going to sound really boomy. I'm no joke, and I'm not just blowing smoke up Mapex's ass, but that does not sound like a 26 in the best way. Like I put it up on stage and in the studio, and I haven't even used it that much, but it sounds like a 26 with the meat and the kind of like the low end, but it's got like clickiness to it, which I was like, oh my God, thank God. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the birch and walnut, because I know birch is a lot, puts out a lot more low end and an attack.
Yeah, exactly. That's what my kit is, birch as well. So
okay, and
that was because I think the birch is a nice combination of low and high frequency, so it will hopefully give you that kind of click and thud in one.
So yeah, I mean, when I got it, I was blown away, and the finish is kind of like a satin black, almost if you look at like a dining room table and you could see the wood grain, it's like that, but with a thin layer of black paint on, almost like yours.
Similar to mine, yeah. I know.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's got all the bells and whistles on it, and I couldn't be happier. And we were talking about it for a long time, and before the pandemic, it was meant to be delivered, but it got delayed, blah, blah, blah. And, we were going through all the specs and just like, what wood should it be and what sizes? And I just went, right, let's just go big, because I know if I get smaller sizes, I just won't be happy. So, and then colors, we were like, what should we do? Should we do chrome, or should we do like a flat black or whatever? And I just went, okay, I think if I am going to be playing with different bands and Raveneye, like a flat black with the wood grain would look great, and just like no frills kind of, and it's got like brushed chrome hardware on it as well, so it's not like mirrored chrome.
That's cool.
So it's kind of a bit like gunmetal. But yeah, I mean, dude, super stoked with it, and I can't wait to use it more. Like I haven't really been able to use it on stage that much, but it's an absolute beast, and I can't thank Mapex enough for it. So thank you, Mapex.
Yeah, they're really cool. And I know you deal with Martin from Korg, right? With a lot of this stuff.
Martin Potts himself. Yeah. So
we're a legend.
Absolutely. Well, who are you? What do you deal with him?
Paisty, yeah. So you're a Paisty artist as well as myself. So I think you use a bit more of a variety than what I use. Do you have like a collection, or do you have one set that you always use, or what?
My relationship with Paisty has been like back and forth, because I started out with on that Kiss run. I took out they were new at the time, the big beats.
Yeah, I got those. Great.
Yeah. So it was like I had like 24, 21, massive fucking sizes, 16-inch hi-hats and stuff. they were great, love them, but I found that I was kind of digging into them a bit because I couldn't really. They weren't that loud of a cymbal. They're basically, if anyone's listening, it's like a mix between a 2002, which is Paisley's kind of loudest range, and then like a mix with their Giant Beat, which is basically what John Bonham used for years, which is a lot more softer. So it's kind of in the middle. But I found that I was kind of, regret to say this, but I was going through cymbals a lot more with that line than I was with other cymbals at Paisley. So I went, right, let me try out the 2002s. And I haven't gone back from 2002s for I think you're the same as well, but
yeah,
for like 5 years, I haven't gone back. I used the 900 series for a while and they're fucking great. They're really cool because they're cheap and they sound wicked. And I use the 15-inch heavy hi-hats, which is like the best hi-hats I've ever heard, 900 series.
Nice.
So yeah, but 2002s, and then I just recently got some Rude cymbals, and I played Rude when I was back in this other band called Dead, and I had fucking Rudes everywhere because they were just a really heavy band. So I've got a 19-inch thin crash Rude, and I got the best China cymbal I've ever heard, which is the Rude 20-inch, I think it's a Novo. I can't remember what it is. I don't know. Wild Crash. That's it. Wild China.
Wild China. Ah, cool. Nice, yeah. nice. Yeah, man. I when I was younger, I had a 19-inch Rude thin crash with the exact cymbal, and that was really nice. It did break in it eventually, but yeah. But I know what you mean. Yeah, the 2002 seemed really durable. I kind of use the power crashes now, and and I've got the heavy 15-inch hi-hats, which I believe they don't make anymore. I think
are they the Sound Edge ones?
No, they're non-Sound Edge.
Yeah, I know a guy called Chris Allen, and he like raves about them, and he's like, they don't make them anymore. And I'm like, well, I want some, and I don't fucking make them. I was like, okay, but yeah I had the 17-inch 2002 hi-hat. So I use them because I'm a massive Steve Jordan freak. So I was like, I want fucking 17 hi-hats. So I got some of them for the Raveneye, the newest Raveneye record, or the upcoming one, and that they're all over it, and you can hear the chunkiness, but they're a bit too big for me.
Yeah, I've never played anything bigger than a 15, even though I know, I used to be big into the Steve Jordan, the John Mayer stuff and all that, and I think it sounds wicked. I've never tried anything bigger than 15 myself, but I know these ones are the perfect sound for the music I'm playing in this band anyway. So cool. I was very lucky to get them because it was when I was speaking to Martin, and I was like, oh, do they do a 15? They were like, oh, they don't do them. They're not currently in the range, but I think there's one pair left in stock in Switzerland. Let me check. And I was like, oh, please let it be. So he got back to me and said, yeah, there's one set there. I'll get them shipped over for you on our next order. So I had to wait a few months to get them, but it was worth it. And before that, I was using the 15-inch. No, I had a 14-inch 14-inch 2002 Sound Edge.
Yeah.
And they were great. And they are amazing. And I've still got them in my spares bag. And I did have a set of 15-inch big beats, which are great as well. So I still use them in different projects and for recording and stuff. But oh man, those new ones are incredible. And yeah, Chris Allen, I've spoke to him a little bit online. He seems like a lovely chap, and he sent me some videos to kind of help me out with bass drum pedal settings. If you're listening, Chris, thank you.
All right.
Yeah, I know he had the same pedal as me, the DW9000. I was like, oh, out of interest. I'm still trying to fine tune the kind of settings, but nice chap.
It's funny with bass pedals, tensions and stuff. Like I've had a 9000 the extended footboard single pedal for years, like fucking I don't know how long, and I just haven't touched them. I got it out of the box, and I was like, yeah, cool. But with double pedals, I use the Mapex Falcon, and I've been adjusting that for the last year because it's double pedals very different. I think with a single, you can just be like, yeah, just whatever. But yeah, you've got to get that,
Absolutely. And I think the problem is most people's, if you're right-footed, your left foot isn't as strong, and you have to compensate on the pedal settings for it. Normally your technique on your left foot isn't going to be as good as your right foot if you've been playing single pedal all your life and stuff like that. And I think that's part of the difficulty. And I guess it depends on what kind of style you play. But with the band I'm in, it's a lot of lots of like songs like that, and I'm doing that for quite a few bars or half a song or whatever. So I wanted to try and be nice and balanced. I know my left foot isn't as strong as my right, and it's kind of. But then I've got songs when I'm playing like really fast kind of punk beats, and I need to find a weird balance where I can get a power for those slow double kicks, but still with my crappy technique, still achieve the kind of the double strokes on my right foot and stuff like that. And I've definitely improved that. Now I fiddle with this new pedal, and it's been a few years to kind of find this place where I'm happy. I've gone through quite a few different pedals. They've all been good in their own ways, but sometimes I've just never found that setting that works for me. Most people will probably say you need to practice more, which is probably true, because I don't practice enough, to be honest.
I don't know. I mean, I think it is. You're always going to have a more dominant side, and if you do grow up just playing, which a lot of people do, single pedal stuff. I didn't start playing double pedal until like 2 years ago.
Oh right, so, okay, yeah.
That was a big learning curve because I just realised my left side is absolute crap, basically.
Yeah.
I had to just sit there and just go, right, it's just muscle memory. That's all it is. Because the thing is, it's like riding a bike. You don't have to practice. You just need to get your muscles on the left side to kind of just match your right. Because, it's just, I don't know. I don't know if it's a thing of practice. You just need to almost like a workout. You just need to just hammer it for a while and then go, right, now it's as strong as my right. But
a lot of people say a good way is to literally try and play, a bunch of your songs that you would with your right foot, and try and play them all with just your left foot instead. Apparently that's a good exercise. If you've got the hours to do that, apparently that's really good to kind of build up the independent side of it as well as the strength. Yeah, sure.
I mean, I got so used to, because for years and years and years, I was like, I'm never going to need a double pedal because like I can do really quick single shit. And then I started joining bands that did require that kind of dig stuff, and I was just like, well, I can't do that with one foot. Yeah. But I always, when there's little rundown in Raveneye, I very rarely use it, and in Taurus, I very rarely use it. But it's good to have, I think, at the end of songs, or if you want to put in some cool little accents, it's always good to have, I think. And I never thought that years ago. I was just like, nah, there's no point of having one because it's basically cheating. But it's it's a talent in itself, I think.
It's necessary sometimes for certain types of music and stuff. And I like to think of my left pedal as literally an emergency backup for if my beater snaps on the right foot and I've got to finish a song. I've done this many times where I've finished the end of the song with either my left foot, or I'll kind of try and reach my right foot around in front of my snare drum. I've done that a few times in emergencies, when you can't really just change a pedal mid-song, or if you don't have a tech or whatever. But I think it's a useful thing to have, even on gigs where you don't need a double pedal as such, just as an emergency. I like having spares of everything. I always have a spare double pedal, a spare snare, a few pairs of sticks everywhere, even though I don't drop sticks much. But
what sticks
I use a brand called Vincent. Vincent brand.
Yeah.
They're awesome, man. They're amazing. Most of the listeners will probably know because I brag on about them quite a lot. But I use the standard 5Bs, nothing kind of special. But I did a tour with the Bastard Sons. I think they were like 75-minute set, maybe 80-minute sets. And I did 16 shows plus sound checks with the same pair.
No way.
They were kind of worn down at the end, but they were giggable. And then I kind of retired them and gave them to some little kid. But honestly, amazing.
Goes in, I'm not sure if you deserve these, mate, but go on, you can have them. They're pretty weighed down.
Well, I get hounded after every gig, and I'm like, I can't give you these sticks because I'm doing an experiment. And I was kind of like, I was like every couple of days on tour, I was putting them on my Instagram. Or this is how worn down they are. I was just interested because they kind of brag that they last longer than at the other brands and stuff. And I'm like, I'm not the hardest hitter in the world, but I give them. I lay into them, decent amount, I like to say. And there's a lot of strokes in our songs because there's a lot of fast up-tempo beats and stuff. So, but they're, and I know a lot of guys that have tried them and now I've stuck with them. And I think it's just because they're not like the top 3 mainstream brands. They get overlooked a lot, or people just don't know they exist.
There's an Australian drummer that I know very well called Jack Parks. If he's listening, he's a fucking great drummer. He plays Vincent as well.
Ah, cool.
And I know, yeah, he's a hard hitter like me and yourself. And yeah, he's said to me, just check him out. I've never checked him out because I've always been happy with Vic Firth. But like, it's weird with drumsticks because you might get like, I'm sure you've had it. You might get a pair that will last for like fucking 5 shows, and then you'll get another pair that you'll like do one rim shot and they'll just explode. And you're like,
definitely.
Okay, this doesn't make any sense. But you know, swings and roundabouts. I mean, I use Vic Firth Extreme 5Bs, which are basically 5Bs with a bit more length.
Yeah.
And I use a stick wrap and stuff when it gets sweaty. But
cool.
Yeah, I mean, I've been with Vic for like 4 or 5 years, and yeah, I haven't really had any issues. Like, if they break, they break.
They're going to break eventually, but, you know.
Yeah, I mean, if they break, whatever, just give them, like you said, just give them to someone who would appreciate it or whatever. But like, yeah, I maybe I should. Or maybe I shouldn't have a look at Vincent, but you know.
Well, if I ever see you at a gig again, I'll give you a pair of mine, and you can try them out. Yeah, you can try them out, man, and whatever. You know, if you're happy with your company, you know, there's no reason to try anything else.
I didn't mean it.
Yeah, I'm sure they won't listen. I don't think they'll be listening.
You never know, mate. Martin Potts might fucking listen to all of this.
Yeah, you never know. To be honest, I've never really hounded him about the podcast. I think I've mentioned it to him in passing.
I will now.
Yeah, okay. It'd be nice to get him on, because I've had my Sona A&R guy on once, and that was a good episode. Because it's a different area of the industry. You know, not particularly you know, he does play drums, but he's not a professional drummer. But it's a completely different side that people don't get to hear about a lot. So yeah, I think Martin, if he's up for it, maybe one day would be great. And because he deals with, like, obviously Vic Firth, Peisty, and Mapex.
Umbrella, yeah. I mean, I was just on
on pianos.
And pianos, yeah. I was on a live stream with Mapex Drums, and he hosted it. And
cool.
That was fun because we just talked shit for an hour. But like, yeah, it would be cool to get him on this, actually. Yeah. I have a podcast of my own, which I don't really do a lot of now, but in lockdown I did, like everyone.
Yeah, I think that's how I kind of first found you. I stumbled upon that, or I stumbled on your account somehow.
Yeah.
And I noticed you were doing something similar to what I was doing at the time, and I was like, oh, this guy seems cool.
Okay. That's how I started talking to Chris and another guy called Andrew Scott and stuff. So, and that's all people I've met online through the pandemic and stuff. And you just go, oh, you know this person, oh, you know that person. It's you know, it's all interconnected. It's so fucking incestuous, the music industry.
Yeah. That's a good point, actually, to plug that. So if anyone wants to kind of go and check out those episodes, is it just YouTube, or is it on podcast platforms?
It's on YouTube as well. It's on Spotify and everything. It's the Breeze Lair podcast.
That's so yeah,
Breeze Lair podcast. There's a couple of episodes up. So yeah, go check it out. I do really enjoy doing it, but it's just trying to find, you know, like, you know yourself, trying to find like those couple of hours in a day where you like can sit down and talk shit.
And the rest of everything else that goes with it.
yeah. This isn't the hard bit.
This is the fun part. This is the bit I actually look forward to. And then it's kind of the hours and hours sitting behind a laptop screen, editing, making artwork, and promoting and writing up. You know, this is what I've got into doing this now. So this is what it is. But like, it takes so much time, man. But yeah, as long as people are listening, I'm going to keep doing it.
Yeah, man.
And, you know, hopefully I'm getting more listeners every week. Hopefully, you know, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
That's great, man. Yeah. So we've talked about, I've seen you play. You're a very energetic drummer. Do you have any kind of warm-up routines or anything you do specifically before a gig, or, you know, a rehearsal to keep yourself from hurting yourself, basically?
Well, funnily enough, at the end of that Kiss tour, I never I never really took my health like that seriously. I was always kind of just like drunk beer, ate pizza, whatever. And at the end of that Kiss run, I started getting pain in my right shoulder, like really bad. It was kind of like, it was basically in like in the socket it's called the labrum, which is right in the middle of the shoulder socket.
Interesting.
Anyway, so I would be coming off stage and I would just have to ice my arms because I just couldn't feel my right arm, and it was really freaking me out. And it was just like it was fatiguing. I had to shake my hands out and shit. And I was like, right, I need to sort this out and I need to go see a physio guy. So I went to a physio guy and he basically said, right, you've got a tiny tear in your labrum, which is basically, it's like like I just said, in the middle of the shoulder socket where the ball joint goes onto the socket, and and apparently it's most common in like baseball players and American football players because they're always throwing, they're always doing that sort of motion.
Yeah, makes sense.
So it's kind of repetitive injury. So I was like, shit, well, what's the best course of action? And he said, well, lucky you're at a stage where it's only a small tear, so you won't need surgery, but you'd have to go through physio. And from that point, I basically just said, right, I'm going to improve my diet. I'm going to exercise. I'm going to do physio every day. And I've been doing that. I lost about like 3 or 4 stone, like over the last couple of years, just because I was just like, I want to make sure that I can do this, for as long as possible. And like, we both don't hit lightly, and you've got to take care of yourself. And I never thought about that. I was always just like, yeah, I'm young, I'm invincible. But it doesn't matter if you're a fucking gravedigger or you're a tiler or whatever, and you're doing something repetitive all day, something's going to go, and you've just got to make sure that, you come out of that the best way possible, injury prevention in a way. So yeah, like warm-ups, I'll do a lot of stretching now. I never used to do a lot of stretching. I very rarely do pad stuff. I do a lot of stretching. I got like a band and I do like chest stretches and stuff like that. And that really opens up my chest and my shoulders. And then I'll just I'll do really slow warm-ups on a pad. So I'll just sit there and just do single hits, get the molar technique going, and just kind of just sit there and then work up the speed is just about as I'm about to go on stage. I know a lot of people will sit down and go, right, warm-ups, and fucking just like go for it. And it's like, that's not warming up. That's like your body just goes, what the fuck is going on? Like, that's not warming up. That's just, killing yourself. But yeah, I take it easy. I just kind of relax, put on some music and just stretch and make sure that I'm like limber. So I don't go in and go, oh shit, this has gone, like first song.
Yeah,
I got this new throne recently, and a lot of people take the piss out of it, but it's actually really helpful. It's the Head Spinal Glide. I don't know if you've seen them, but
it's got like the gap in the middle for like where your balls would go, kind of.
Pretty much, yeah. My balls perfectly. No, but it's like, yeah. So it's like there's a hole in the middle, but apparently it helps your lower back, lumbar support. And for long gigs, I've used it, and I don't know if it's a placebo, but it really helps my making me sit upright. Because I used to sit really low like Dave Grohl, because I was like, I want to sit like Dave Grohl, and I'd sit like on the floor like Tommy Lee, and I'd watch videos of myself, and I'd be like a lot of people can't see this, but I'd be like really hunched over like fucking Hunchback of Notre Dame, and I watch those videos now, and I'm like, yeah, no fucking wonder something went wrong. Because you see all your heroes like kill it like that, and you're just like, yeah, they must be amazing, but everyone's body's different. And I don't know, maybe Dave Grohl has the same shoulder issue, I don't know, but like things can go wrong. And that was kind of the one wake-up call for me, that I was just like, right, I need to do something, because otherwise I'm not going to be able to do this for a long time.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Cool, man. I can totally. It sounds like a slightly different problem to what I had, but in the same right shoulder.
Right.
I still never solved the problem. I've been to physio, and I've been to kind of sports therapist person. I've been to a shoulder specialist, but I had to wait like 10 months to see her. And at the time, I wasn't really gigging much, so like there was no symptoms. So she was like, I can't really do anything. I was like, oh, that was great, thanks. Yeah, but no, it was. Now I've been playing again recently. It's kind of been playing up a little bit. It's more I think it's more the bicep tendons with the front there.
Okay.
It kind of just flares up a lot.
Right.
And I've been living with it for the last few years, but at one point it kind of just twanged. And it's happened twice really. But once I had to cancel a tour, and the rest, the second time was kind of like, this is just painful, and I had to deal with it for a while. But yeah, right. It's all down to your posture, and like I don't have the best posture. I try and think about it when I'm playing. I've got a decent throw now. I don't have that one, and that does sound good. There's a lot of science behind that, so there must be a reason for why people use that for that reason. But yeah, posture is a very important thing, and like as rock drummers, we kind of want to entertain the crowd and rock out, and a lot. Yeah. I kind of like do this with my head and all this stuff, and that's bad for my neck, which is bad for all these.
You can't always think about that shit. I get it, but it's being aware of. That's why I always try and video myself every show. I'm like, I just want to make sure that I am sitting upright and I am, doing the right things. But some shows you just go fucking mental, and it does because we're both players that you want to put on a show, and your body will adapt or it will suffer, not in a bad way, but it's a sacrifice we make, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, no, I totally agree. And but some people don't think about it. Like you said, you never thought about it until you hurt yourself. So exactly. This is a big warning, really, to anyone that hasn't hurt themselves yet. It might happen one day. So do your warming up and your stretching and stuff like that. Yeah, man, definitely. Cool. Right, we're coming towards the end now. I'm going to do my usual quick fire round, if that's cool with you. So 10 questions. You've got to answer them as quickly as possible. Do you prefer hot or cold weather?
Cold.
Okay, interesting. Daytime or nighttime? Nighttime.
Is there a record for this, by the way? Because I'm.
It's just so the listeners can get to know you a bit more, man. And man, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I like it when people match my answers, but they obviously don't. You get bonus points for matching all of my answers, I suppose. Okay. Sweet or savory? Sweet, definitely. Guitar or bass? Guitar, bass, shit. Okay. Nylon or wood tip sticks? Wood. Cool. John Bonham or Neil Peart, whatever you want to say. Bonham. Beatles or Rolling Stones? Stones. Interesting. Clear or coated drum heads? Oh, I don't know. Two for different reasons. I mean, I would say coated, but I like playing clear live. Okay. Cool. Big or small venue? Big. You've established that, I think. Favorite time signature to play? 4/4. Yeah, cool, man. That's good. And before we kind of finish this, I match all your answers? What's that? Sorry? Did I match all your answers? No. For half, maybe half and half, maybe. Not bad. No one's ever had full marks yet. But it doesn't matter. It's just, we talk about drums for an hour. Here's some other stuff. I feel like the Beatles one was the one that people were like, what? He said the fucking Stones over the Beatles? Yes, I grew up on the Rolling Stones and they're fucking kick-ass. So I was going to, that's interesting. That is always actually interesting. I think it's to do with your upbringing more because I didn't get brought up on either. Right. I got into the Beatles in my early 20s and I was blown away. I was like, oh my God. And it was just this world of amazing music and songwriting, and it just blew me away. I never really delved big into the Stones, but I just feel like from what I've heard, there's just less interesting stuff going on. So I just can't see me ever getting into it, The last thing I'll say is I think with the Beatles, because a lot of British guys or whatever, you feel like you have to say the Beatles because they're one of the most, and they've inspired all the bands that I grew up listening to. But the reason I would choose the Stones over the Beatles, I think it's more of the live standpoint for me, whereas like Mick Jagger and seeing those guys
over the Beatles. I'd rather see the Stones live than the Beatles because everything about it is just a bit more up my street in terms of I like listening with my eyes sometimes.
That's really interesting because he's a fantastic front man. And I guess the Beatles didn't really have that front person because it was kind of like shared to some degree, wasn't it? So, and they were all playing instruments. So, yeah, I can imagine, from a live point of view. And at the end of the day, the Stones are still doing it, which is amazing. So, I've never seen them. I would definitely go and watch them. I've just never seen them, but I wouldn't know many songs either. But I'd probably listen to a lot. If I had a Rolling Stones ticket in a few months, I'd definitely go and listen to a load of their stuff, or at least the best of the Rolling Stones or something like that. Oh man, that's cool, man. And just before we go, then a little bit of a plug, I suppose, as well. I got a Patreon page for anyone who's interested, and the top tier get to ask my guests questions. We only kind of arranged this interview like a couple of days ago, so apologies for that. Normally I give you more notice, but I've got a couple of questions from one of my patrons, Paul Hutchings, who's a top guy.
Awesome.
I believe he saw you the other day at Steelhouse Festival as well, which is cool.
Oh, cool. Cheers, Paul.
You think he was there? So we've kind of already talked about this, but just in case there's anything else you wanted to add, and if not, fair enough. Don't add anything. I'd be really interested to know about Adam's experiences from the Kiss support slot a few years ago, and what did you and Raveneye learn from Kiss? I know you've kind of answered this already, but is there anything else you can think of?
The main thing we learned from Kiss themselves, watching them every night, was it was almost the same when we supported Aerosmith on a one-off show, and those legacy bands, like, I'm sure you know yourself, but it's like they've been doing it for so long, but they're still so fucking tight. And it's the one thing we learned from Kiss was just like, right, you just got to listen to everyone playing, all your band members every night, and just lock in and just play as much as you can, because that's how those bands get like that. And it's funny how people come into a situation and go, you have to be this tight already. And it's like, no. There's a difference between being tight and then being tight. Like, you have to play with that human being for a long time. And I think that's what we've learned, is like, just learn everyone's personality behind their instrument and just know what they're going to do next. Because all those guys fucking, know that set like the back of their hands. So that was the main thing we learned, and how to like operate and kind of interact with those kind of big crowds and bring that to a smaller venue. That's one of the biggest things we learned, I think. So yeah, cheers, Paul.
Good answer. He's got two more questions for you though. Sorry. Best and worst festival you've played at?
Best one is Steelhouse. I would say best festival we've ever played at was there was this festival. I think it was, I can't remember who it was. Trying to look for a poster. I think it was in like Poland or somewhere. And it was like, we were really low down on the bill. No one really knew who we were, but it was one of like the best shows we've ever played, because everyone was just like, I was going mental. So that had like, oh my God, Evanescence on it and stuff like that. So that was a crazy festival, and I remember it being insanely hot. That was probably the best. The worst, I don't think we've ever. Maybe when I was younger, there was probably some really shit ones.
Yeah.
I can't remember the names, but yeah, there was probably a few crap ones. Yeah.
You don't want to diss any festivals, anyways. So no, I know what you mean. No, cool, man. That's cool. And again, you've already answered this in my questions. Sorry, Paul, you haven't kind of come up with many.
Come on, Paul.
Unique questions for me today. Sweaty club or large arena? I'm pretty sure you're going to say large arena.
Can I have sweaty arena? I mean, like,
yeah. Most arenas I go to are still sweaty anyway.
Exactly. I would say both for different reasons, but yeah, definitely large arena.
Yeah,
I think I would be a different answer a couple of years ago. I think I'd be like, yeah, I like small clubs, but when you actually get to do it and get to play those big stages, you're like, I want to do this all the time.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And there's always so many more you can do that you haven't done and stuff like that. Like definitely. And there is a different vibe. There is a unique vibe in a small, sweaty club, I think. But from a player's perspective, it's logistically more difficult and stuff with gear and things like that. And
being a drummer in a small venue is a hassle.
Yeah, exactly. So being on a big stage and having somewhere to store your cases and
you know what the first thing that the guys say when you play a small venue is, have you got any tape, mate? Can you tape your cymbals because they're too fucking loud?
Yeah.
When you play a large arena, they're not going to say shit. It's like, I need an overhead mic because I can't hear my cymbals.
Yeah.
So,
definitely. I mean, I remember when I was a lot younger and I played a place in Cardiff, and the sound engineer, I had like nice Paisty cymbals, like I think they were nice signatures or whatever, pretty loud. And he was like, Granny, yeah, literally, we got gaffer tape to tape your cymbals. And I was like, what? Yeah, you're too loud. I'm like, well, I'm not even hitting them that hard. I'm like, yeah, too loud for the roommate. I'm like, sorry. But yeah, if you've got loads of money, yeah, you can buy different sets of cymbals for different gigs, but not, most drummers have a set of cymbals and that's their cymbals. So yeah. It's difficult. And if you're in a loud rock band, you've got to hit them hard, so.
That's the annoying thing about it is like, if someone says tape out your cymbals and you've spent like, fucking money,
grand cymbals, or whatever, like, yeah.
Basically turn them into splashes. Then it's like, well, no, like, I don't know. I understand you got to compromise for the sound of the band, but
yeah,
at the same time, a lot of people will defend you and go, "Oh, hang on, it's got to be loud."
For example, just imagine telling Motorhead to do that. It's not like it's just not. That's not what the vibe is.
Yeah,
and I get it, but
I think Motorhead there's certain countries where they have like dB limits and stuff. You probably have experienced this. And I think they've struggled in some of those countries. Even we have. And like I feel like this is so much quieter than what we normally do, but it's because the sound engineer has to keep it below a certain level. And that's such a pain for our genre. And it's just the laws of those countries. I think Switzerland is one. France is, I think, pretty strict.
We played a show in Amsterdam, and I remember this really vividly because they had a guy came in DB fuck. He was like this, like, right, guys, okay, yeah. And I hit my snare drum, and my snare drum alone set off the DB limit, and they were like, right, stop, like, because some venues that DB limit cuts off the electricity if it goes above a certain thing.
Wow.
So I wasn't one of the venues, but. That's, I don't know. In those situations, I just play really quietly at sound check.
Yeah, it doesn't work for the music. It's such a pain. It doesn't work for the music. But yeah, cool. Yeah, DB limits. I'm glad we don't have them in the UK. Thank God.
In the words of AC/DC, rock and roll is not noise pollution.
Exactly. They know what they're talking about. Right. And the end of the podcast now. If you could create your own dream band with yourself on drums, not including members of Raveneye, but you can include any musician or singer, dead or alive, who would be in the band with you?
Okay. Eddie Vedder, frontman.
Awesome.
Bass player, Pino.
Nice.
Trio.
Fellow Welshman.
Yeah. Guitar player. I've got this mate, and he's going to love this. I've got this mate in America called Derek Day, and he's he's a singer as well, but he's a great guitar player. Either Derek Day on guitar or
you're gonna have two guitarists.
Oh, it's gone from my head now. The fucking guitarist in the Who, Pete Townsend.
Oh yeah, that guy.
Townsend, yeah, that guy. On rhythm guitar, and then on bass, I've said Pino. So that's probably it. I mean, maybe like a keyboard player as well, like I don't know, Elton John or something. But
nice. No, that's a cool band, man. And I love asking that question, and you can kind of hear what people's influences are as well. And Eddie, surprisingly, I think that was the first time Eddie Vedder came up, which is crazy considering
either him or Chris Cornell, I think.
Oh, yeah, it's pretty difficult. Someone asked me, and I had to kind of come up with mine. And my lead singer was going to be Daniel Johns, who I know you're a fan of, because I saw your Silverchair video cover.
Fuck, man, and
he's incredible.
That was I only discovered Silverchair maybe a couple of years ago, and that band is just blown. And in terms of the history of them as well, and what he's gone through as a front, it's just incredible. And I'm so bummed that they're not around me. I mean, they are, but not like.
Well, they're not. I don't know. I don't know if they technically split up or what, but they definitely haven't released music or played a show for a long time.
No.
And I know he's got solo stuff out now, which it's very good, but it's not rock. It's very like kind of electronic based. But the vocals on it is incredible. So a lot of people don't know who he is or the band unless they.
Good shout.
Yeah.
I like.
Yeah, it's good stuff. But yeah, cool. Thanks for taking the time for doing this. If people want to follow you on like the social media things, where can they find you?
You can find me on all social medias at A Drummer Breeze. That's at A Drummer Breeze. And then my website is www.adrummerbreeze.com. Raveneye's socials are at It's Raveneye, and that's for everything. And then it's raveneyeofficial.com for tour dates, tickets, merch, blah, 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 all that good stuff.
Yeah. You've got a tour coming up, right, as well? You're supporting Cheap Trick, I believe. Is there anything else?
So we've got that booked, which is so Cheap Trick, we're supporting them UK and Europe next year in February. We've got Shiprock Cruise, which is in America in January, which we've done a couple of times, and that's awesome.
Have you? Nice.
And then we've got some shows in the works for next year, and we've got some really cool stuff booked for the end of the year. But yes, we've got some I've got some shows coming up with Taurus, which is we're headlining the Crawford Arms in Milton Keynes on I think it's the 13th or 14th of August, but you can buy tickets on their social media, which is at Taurus UK. And I'm doing, funnily enough, I'm doing loads of Nirvana tribute shows as well. I've joined this. Well, I mean, I've always been in it, but I've kind of been switched out between this other drummer. I'm in a Nirvana tribute band, which they do. It's actually mental how well they do. Like they're doing like 800, 600 cap venues.
Jesus.
Like, so I'm doing a couple of shows of them all over the UK this year as well, which it is so fun to do that stuff because you can just like, I'm Dave Grohl for the night. It's fucking great.
What's the name of that tribute then?
It's just Nirvana Tribute UK. That's
Nirvana. All right, Nirvana Tribute UK. That's awesome. Anything in Wales?
Maybe I can double check.
Well, just like if you're coming to Wales ever, let me know and I'll try to come and watch. I've actually started a similar project with a couple of mates. We've only had 2 rehearsals, but it's rather than it's not a Nirvana cover band, but it's a Dave Grohl themed cover band. So we do Nirvana, Foo Fighters, a couple of Queens of the Stone Age tracks, Tenacious D, but we're very early on. So yeah, because he played on a load of that stuff. But so like I've had 2 rehearsals so far. There's a bit of jamming on my Instagram for anyone interested, playing some Foo Fighters songs and stuff. But it'd just be nice to play. I've never really done the covers thing massively. I've always been in originals bands, and I've done the odd cover gig on the side, but never kind of really had my own band properly, So
it's good fun. It's good fun.
And it's just music I love, and it just seems natural to play and learn. So so listeners, keep your eyes peeled for that. Go and see Adam in Nirvana Tribute UK.
Yeah.
If he's playing nearby, and go and say hello and say you listen to him on the podcast. And I think that's it really. So
thank you so much for having me. It's been like, I know you've had some amazing guests and I'm honored to be one of them. So thank you, Dane.
You're amazing yourself, Adam. You're very good. You're very, very talented. And you're a great personality, which helps with, this kind of thing. And you've got a cool Sepultura t-shirt on. So one of my goals is to somehow get Eloy Casagrande on one day, but I don't know how good his English is.
I know. I think he's had the same issue because there was I think it was Craig Reynolds' podcast that because he would try to get him on it, and he said like I'm sorry, like my English, he doesn't feel comfortable with. Yeah. I think it's really good, his English, but he's probably not that confident. But I mean, fuck, dude. I just a last quick note on Eloy Casagrande. He, I only discovered Sepultura, maybe 2 years ago, almost the same time as Silverchair, and I was like, really like music, really like. I can't remember the original guy's name. I can't remember his name.
Igor Cavalera.
And I love his playing on the first album, and then I discovered Eloy, and I was like, I might as well just give up drums because this is like I would say he's probably the best drummer in the world right now.
I think especially he just won the Modern Drummer Best Metal Drummer Award. Yeah. So in terms of. But he's not just a metal drummer because he plays all this kind of Latin stuff. He hits them hard. Yeah, he incorporates it. So clever. And he's doing things that I can't even comprehend how he's doing them, yet executing it with incredible force and volume and just making it look easy.
What I like about Eloy is that there's a lot of metal players that will think about what they're playing, but you can tell with him, it's all feel. It's all just like, I don't think he even knows what he's playing. I mean, I'm sure he does. I'm sure he practices like so much, but he's in that moment and he goes for it. And the consistency thing with him is the thing for me that I'm like, wow. Like, that is the consistency of kick and snare hits and everything. I'm just like, at that speed it's inhuman. It's inhuman for most drummers who need to rely on certain techniques to achieve like that amount of strokes, but he still somehow does them with the most power you can even. I just don't know how he does it, and it's amazing. I got to see him live side stage once. We did a festival. Oh, wow!
But what was embarrassing was I had to go on before him, and he was watching me, and I was me just playing my, and he was probably like, "This guy's shit." But it was nice. I briefly met him. We Instagrammed each other, and he replied to me in English saying, "Oh, it was great to watch you." So, but
there you go.
Man, I watched him from side stage, and obviously the volume of the acoustic kit was just overwhelming. The PA and everything, because it was just ridiculous. What a legend, and what a
legend. He just self mixes himself, doesn't he? Though, really, in terms of he's not bashing the shit out of the hi hat, and he knows how to get a good sound without any microphones on him. And that when you put microphones on him, it's like, holy fucking shit. It sounds like a drum machine in the best way possible. But big up Eloy Casagrande. Even if you ever listen to this, I don't know.
I doubt he will. He's too busy getting awards and stuff.
He's too busy being fucking great. So
no, but cheers, Eloy, for the inspiration anyway. It's great. Cheers, Adam. I'm going to end this now. Many thanks. And good luck with the future, and hopefully see you on the road soon.
Thanks, man. You too, mate.
Cheers. And thanks for listening, everybody.
Drum for the Song podcast.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Drum for the Song podcast. If you've enjoyed this, please consider liking the video and subscribing if you're watching on YouTube, or subscribe and follow wherever you get your podcasts. If you could leave me a review or comment, that would be fantastic too, as it helps other people discover this show. Please also consider sharing this with any family members or friends who might enjoy the content. You can also follow me on social media at Dane_drums or at Drum for the Song, or search for Drum for the Song on Facebook to follow the page and join the official Facebook group. If you'd like to support the podcast, you could purchase some merchandise from drumforthesong.com, or consider supporting me via Patreon from just £3 per month for additional exclusive content like bonus episodes, video calls with myself, competitions, discounts, and much more. Any additional support is always greatly appreciated. but I would like to give extra special thanks to my top tier Groove Master patrons, whose names are listed in the description below. My name is Dane Campbell, and thanks so much for watching or listening this far. If you're a drummer, don't forget to drum for the song.